Welcome back to Fortune and Friendship, the podcast where we believe that your most valuable asset is your network. I'm your host, Corey McNabb, and each week we'll connect with inspiring guests who are making waves in their fields. Together, we'll explore how collaboration and friendship can lead to incredible opportunities and success. Each episode, you'll hear from entrepreneurs, creative investors, and thought leaders who will share what they're currently working on and how we can join forces to create something amazing. Whether you're looking to expand your own network or discover new ways to collaborate, you'll find actionable insights and fresh ideas right here. So let's settle in. And remember, it's not who you know that counts, but who knows you. That being said, let's introduce our special guest, Mr. Emilio Chavez. Emilio, how you doing, brother?
Oh man, we doing good. How about you, Corey?
Whew, living it up, man.
Yeah, bro. I love how I'm over here jacket on, and you got this Hawaiian shirt on. I'm like,
Yep.
dang, bro. I'm like complete different styles over here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's oddly warm here. Um, because I know we had like a cold snap last week, and so everybody was in sweats and jackets and all that. And then this week it's been in the 80s like 2-3
Oh
days in a row.
wow.
Yeah, it's
Oh, that's
ridiculous.
nuts, bro. I woke up to 40-degree weather, so
Whew. I'm sure we'll be there here soon.
heck yeah, brother.
So, Emilio, I know we met out in Arizona. I had a great time out there. But for those watching, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So, again, the name's Emilio Chavez. I live out here in beautiful Southern Oregon, where when you tell people that, they're like, why are you in Oregon? Right. Especially real estate investors are like, yo, get out of there. But I love it, man. So living out here, yeah. So I still got, doing this real estate while still maintaining a full-time W-2 job. But all my investing has been on the complete opposite coast of me. So I've only been investing in really South Carolina and Florida. And that how did that happen? It's a story, but yeah, we tried going around in my neck of the woods, didn't go as planned, and just met some amazing partners and friends out on the East Coast, and that's where the journey began.
Okay. Okay. So, I know there's a lot of people that might be like, "Oh, I don't have time to do this type of stuff because I'm, working a W-2." I guess what is your W-2 and what kind of time constraint does that put you in?
Yeah, so I just started a new job, so I'll talk about when I was working as a truck driver, right? So I was working at a truck driver at a pallet yard, and what I was doing was basically I realized that I don't have the time, right? Like you were saying, a lot of people were like, man, I don't have time to do real estate. I don't have the money to get into real estate. And then I was that same person. I was always putting excuses on top of excuses. And then I don't know, one day I just kind of went back to, okay, how can I get started with this little time? And I realized quickly that you need to delegate almost everything. Like people have a hard time delegating the little things, but when you're working full time, you really all you got is you got to utilize, that paycheck, even though it's not much. A lot of people are like, I don't have that much money, right? But you might have enough money to pull a list, right? You could probably pull a list for somebody that doesn't have money to pull a list to call homeowners, right? But I have just enough to pull that small list, and I realized quickly that I had to, squat up, partner up with people. If I don't have time to make calls, I need to find somebody that can make calls. If I don't have time to build a whole system, I got to find somebody that loves to do that. And then I got to share a piece of the pie,
Mhm.
and that's another thing I noticed that people have a hard time doing is, like, man, if I do this deal, I make $1,000. Okay, that's cool. But, you know, you have to do that all on your own. And yeah, you take the full $1,000. Now those are low numbers, but if people are like, man, he's doing this for $1,000. No. um, but if you're too busy to make that phone call, if you're too busy to open escrow, if you're too busy to be talking to the buyers or the sellers or title, you can lose that $1,000 because of the time that you spent trying to do everything on your own and just keep all the money. Instead, you could have split that with somebody that has time. Yeah,
Hmm.
you make the $500, they make $500, but guess what? Now, just like the name set, friends, fortunes and friendships. Now you're making money with your friends.
Hmm.
you know and if you're making money by yourself, I've got to, well, first of all, I don't even think somebody could make money by themselves.
No,
Even if they think they are, they're not. They're paying somebody to do something somewhere down the line. But just making money with your friends, man, that's what it's all about.
absolutely. So you started out, or you were a truck driver when you started in real estate.
Hmm.
I guess what was that driving factor for you to get into real estate? And then sounds like you tried it out in your local area, wasn't working. I guess, how did that conversation come up with those people that you met on the East Coast, that you got into this, I guess, partnership?
Yeah, brother. So I guess we'll kind of go to the beginning, right? So when I first got started, it was all about, I always thought you needed a bunch of money to get into real estate. But then I'm watching my brother's TikTok video, right? He's showing me funny videos, and this guy comes on, and he's like, "Let me tell you about wholesaling real estate." I'm like, "Wait, dude, go back, go back. What's this wholesaling?" Right? And he was talking about how you can get into real estate, no money out of pocket, of course, and all this. You don't need that much money. I'm like, okay, that interested me. That got me, right? Because I was that audience. I had no money, but I always had this desire to get into real estate because whenever I heard people that were, they were living pretty well off, and it's like, that you see those guys on Instagram now, they're like, what do you do? Like, what's your job? What do you do for a living? A lot of it's real estate, real estate. Even if they have another business, somewhere they're investing in real estate. So I just knew I had to get into real estate. And so I watched this TikTok. I start following this person, like YouTube videos, and he's talking about wholesale. And I knew nothing about it. So what do? I try to find somebody who can explain it to me. So I go on Facebook and I type in real estate meetups near me. And I find a local real estate meetup and I go to it. And I don't know anybody. I'm brand new. I don't know anything at this point. And they're like, "Oh, hey, who are you? Welcome. I see you're brand new." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm trying to learn about wholesaling." And like, "Oh, you want to do wholesaling? Go talk to the gentleman back there. He used to wholesale, or he wholesales." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I go talk to this guy and I'm like, "Hey, I'm trying to get into real estate and I heard about wholesaling." And they tell me you're the person to talk to. And he's like, "Yeah, man, what do you want to know?" I'm like, "Man, I want to get started. I don't have money. Um, but I'm trying to change, my whole life, my family's life, like I'm trying to break this generational thing and create a different future." And he's like, "Okay, let's meet up tomorrow at this pizza joint." And we go, and the first thing he tells me, bro, he's like, "You really want to get started?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'm ready now." Oh, my wife tells me she's pregnant. We're expecting our first child. Then this was like 3 years ago, right? Almost 3 years ago. And that really, like, okay, if it's now or never, right? That baby's coming. Um, I need to start bringing in more income. So I meet this guy. He's like, "You really want to get started?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, you need $5,000. And I'm just like, "Bro, I literally told you I got no money." Like, I got no money. Like, what do you mean I need $5,000? Like, he's like, if you really want to get started, you need $5,000. And I'm like, and I go home and my wife's, she sees me. I'm like sitting there almost defeated, right?
Mhm.
Like, I'm like, dude, like what? I watched this TikTok. This guy's like, yo, you can get started, no money. And now I got this other guy's like, if you really want to get started, you need $5,000. And I'm like sitting there. I'm like, yeah, I don't think this is what I thought it was gonna be. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? No. Like this, I always do this, right? People always do this. You're like, no, that was cool. That was a great thought. Let me stop right here. And I was like, no, we're gonna switch it up. So I as a Latino person growing up in a Latino household, um, we were told to never get credit cards.
Mm.
Never. Never buy with credit, always buy cash. If you don't have money for it, you don't need it, kind of thing, right? So I'm like, I need a credit card. So I call up a cousin of mine who he works in the banks. I'm like, bro, what do you have any credit cards? And he's like, yeah, I have tons. I'm like, which one do you recommend? He's like, what do you mean? I was like, dude, I don't need a credit card, but I need one. And if I'm gonna get a credit card, I might as well just get a good one. And he recommends this one credit card, and I apply for it. My max $5,000. I get accepted, bro. I call him up. I got the money. I'm about ready to max out a credit card that I just got. Like, bro, I just got accepted. I'm like, boom, let's do this. I'm all in. And from there, it turns into this. We were gonna wholesale here local. He tells me, bro, we're gonna get started with postcards. And I'm like, postcards, okay. I didn't know about this. He's like, yeah, we're gonna, dude. I sent out 11,000 postcards, bro. 11,000 postcards. This was like, 2021 when you could sell a shack for $1 million, bro.
Yeah.
So probably not the best time to have started this journey of mine for wholesaling. Okay. But we're going at it. I take out and then I'm like, all right, what's next? He's like, okay, we're gonna get a dialer. We're gonna get a dialer or like an inbound dialer. So you're gonna be taking phone calls. He's like, don't worry, bro. I got you. We're gonna do these phone calls together and you meet me here at my office and we're gonna crush this thing. I'm like, yeah, brother. I go into his office or I start getting these calls and he's nowhere to be found. I'm like calling him. I'm like, hey, like, dude, we're getting these calls. We're getting these calls. Nothing. And I'm like, dude, I spent $5,000 on this. I'm not gonna just let. So I'm answering these calls, right? And they would go exactly how you think they went. What are you doing bringing these note cards to my property? If you come, like the postcards had little Google photos. I did not give you permission to come to my property. You come to my property again, I'll shoot you where you stand. I'm like, oh my gosh. And brother, I'm telling you, I would show my wife the calls. Hey, you little Mexican, if you come, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. Like I was getting the most racist phone calls. And then I'm like, yo, this is not what they tell you about. And I'm taking them, bro. I'm taking these phone calls. Some of them were good, but then you have ones that are like, this was, Southern Oregon, 2021, cannabis industry is booming. Every call was more like, yeah, I want to sell my house. I want, $900,000. I'm like, Jesus. And I'm like looking at it. It's a small little house, little land. I got water rights though. I got water rights. That's worth $1 million because everyone thought everybody wanted to grow cannabis at their house. So you can grow a bunch of cannabis. I got water rights. And I'm like, my goodness, this is not going as planned. And right, I'm telling you, like I'm getting all these phone calls and I'm taking these calls. But then I get one call, right? I get this one call, this gentleman that lives kind of like 5 minutes from where I'm at. He's got a strange house layout. He's got his home, which was commended like not livable, but he's got this home, and then he put a manufactured home on there. He put a manufactured home, And then he converted his barn, like part of his barn, into a studio. But this guy's like not professional. Like I go look at it and I'm like, okay, this thing looks like somebody just put some plywood and called it a good to go. And the gentleman's living in the non-livable home, right? And he's renting out the manufactured home. And I'm like talking to local people, like, dude, I got this guy. He wants to sell his house. He's in this situation, um, and he's going through foreclosure because he can't afford all these bills. What can we do? And he's like, dude, like, look at this place, man. Like, you would have to sink in a bunch of money into this just to even get it on the market, let alone all the code violations that are all around us. And I was like, no, 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 that's so. Then I hear of this crazy guy named Pace Morby. Bro, love that guy, bro. I love him. I see his videos, come learn creative financing, this and that. And so I go and I join, and then I hit up the Facebook group, the Sub 2 Facebook group, like, yo, I got this property out here. I'm brand new. I need some help. And that's when my partner Angel Bodon reaches out to me. So this is where the story goes for how, and he's from South Carolina, right? So this guy calls me. He's like, what you got, man? Let's jump on a Zoom. And I explain everything to him. And he's like, okay, what I need you to do is go to the county and I need you to see if we can do this, this, and this. Now, I'm like maybe 6 months into, I was 6 months into taking the postcards. And now he's telling me to go to the county and ask about all these property information. Can we split the property? All these, like, just what's it zoned? I'm like, what do you mean, what's it zoned? He's like, go to the county and ask. And again, I've never been. So I go to the county records and I'm like, I'm asking about the property. What can we do? And she's like, well, it's kind of in a certain area. You can't change the zoning, unfortunately. She gives me all these news and I give it back to him. And then that's when he tells me, like, hey, brother, honestly, there's not much we can do. Like, you can tell him this, we can offer this creative solution, but it's not gonna benefit him. Like, he honestly probably needs to just talk to his bank, do a short sale, or sell the house as is, seller financing. But he had all these bills. So unfortunately, there wasn't much we could do with it. It just happens. But the story doesn't end there. I message Angel. I'm like, hey, bro, I appreciate you for helping me. What can I do for you? Right? I'm brand new. Like, what can I do for you? And like he tells me, well, you seemed like you were ready to get started. Like, I didn't hesitate going to like, he told me something and I went to go do it. Right? So if anybody takes anything out of it is, something, you just got to do the uncomfortable, right? But he saw that I was willing to do it. So he was like, hey, I'm going to teach you everything I know about creative finance. He's been in Sub 2 since there was like 100 students. And now there's like over 10,000. So he was like what we call the OGs, right? And I'm learning from this guy. And, I'm figuring out what he's got going on. He's doing these raps, right? These seller finance. And he's teaching me all about Sub 2. Like, my mind is just getting blown up with just all these creative strategies. And he's working on this flip. And I'm like, what do you guys need on that flip? Because I hear that you guys are struggling. He's like, oh man, we need some money. And then I'm like, okay, let me figure it out. Because obviously I don't have the money. So I watch one of Pace's Zooms, bro. And he's talking about raising capital. He's like, you want to learn to raise capital? Pick this up. Holds up his phone, dude. And I'm like, okay, let's get uncomfortable again. I'm looking through my contacts. Who here do I know that's like some sort of investor, whether it's stocks, whether it's, housing, somebody that I know, maybe they have a rental. So I call him up and I call this person on my phone and I'm like, hey, I know I'm brand new into this real estate, but I'm working with these guys and they have a flip and they can run the numbers. Like, I just want to connect you guys. Like, they can tell you the numbers and you can see if it's a good deal or not. but this is what they need. They need like $20,000. And he's like, all right, get me connected. So they get connected, they get the funding, they finish the flip. And that's when Angel was like, all right, bro, you can join our, like, you're a partner now. Like, you showed that you're willing to do the uncomfortable and provide value, right? Like, you didn't have the money, we didn't have the money, and you didn't just end it there. You found it. You found what we needed, which was somebody to raise capital for our deals. And that's what I started doing. And so he lived in South Carolina. So that's how I got doing deals in South Carolina, right? I built a little team. He was teaching me everything there was to know about creative financing. And then I run weekly Zooms, every Wednesday, and I basically give people all the information they want. I'm like throwing it all out there, all free. Jump in here. You got a question? If I have the answer, you're getting it. If I don't have the answer, somebody in the Zoom might, right? And we're in there chatting, and this other gentleman jumps on after Squad Up Summit, or no, Clever Summit, the first one. And he hears about Pace Morby and all the sub 2 students. And then he joins my Zoom. And he's like, hey, I'm a broker out here in Florida. I've built I've built it up into like the millions. We're making millions of dollars on doing traditional real estate, but I want to learn this creative stuff. And I'm like, dude, I don't know anything about starting a business. But this guy has started multiple, but he's telling me his scooter business and this and that. And I'm like, just like from the beginning, I don't have much time, right? I'm still working my W-2, doing all this. I'm still working truck driving, right? And I'm running these Zooms. I'm connecting with these people, but I'm like, okay, this guy knows how to start a business and he wants to learn the creative stuff. So I'll bring that and he can bring the business side, right? And so now I'm partnered with this, my partner Lucas, right? So I got my partner Angel, my partner Lucas, and I'll tell you what, brother. Like from then on out, now we've got like 7 employees, like paid employees, and then I've got a team of like 12 callers. We call them investor callers. They're like other students or people that are wanting to learn, and they're working within our business. And all this started from just jumping in, not making excuses, using the little time. Like while driving, I can use my Bluetooth. So I'm like in the truck driving, talking to my partners. Hey, this is what we need. I'm getting my truck unloaded, checking emails. Okay, respond. Truck's loaded. Gotta go. Boom. Phone's down, Bluetooth on. Driving, make another delivery. Once I'm getting unloaded, boom, I'm checking again. It's almost like somebody can go to the restroom. They're at their W-2. Emilio, I don't have, like, no one's unloading my truck. Yeah, but you can probably go to the restroom every once in a while, right? Who's to say you can't go to the restroom for 10 minutes? Check your emails, respond to your text, build your team, right? Then after work, bro, I'm here. I'm on my computer. My wife's like, hey, I don't see you anymore. I know, but I'm grinding right now. Like I'm building this so that way now when our son is born and we want to build up our family, now we can have a better place. But right now I'm like in grind mode. And so, yeah, dude, for like the first 2 years, man, it was just working, calling, building the team. And now, we've got this year we decided, hey, let's focus fix and flips. I got 5 flips active right now. My first rental was an 8-plex in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Never been. My partner's never been, but we own it and we have the team in place to run it. So if anything, people gathered out of this, it's just, yes, you've got to build. If you don't have the time, even if you have the time, whatever you don't know, partner with somebody that knows it. Like I've never flipped a home in my life. This is my first, I've never started an entrepreneur. Like Entrepreneurship wasn't in my family, dude. That's what I tell people. I was like, brother, I mean, I did landscaping with my dad, you know,
Mhm.
when I was younger. That was his little like Saturday gig. We did landscaping, but it wasn't like he built a massive business. He worked. My father worked at a they like it's a company called Treetop. They make juice. He worked there for 30 years. My mother was, from job to job, divorced parents. The first year of my life, not great. It started getting better in the second, but there was nobody was there to teach us about entrepreneurship. So I just partnered with people who had been in the business, and I provided that value. So that's how it went from just a TikTok video and losing like, yeah, did I get a deal from that 5 grand? No. I'll tell you that right now. People are like, well, go back to the postcards. Did I make money off those postcards, bro? No,
Hmm.
not a dime. But was it I feel like it was my fee for education because I met my partner Angel. I met my partner Lucas. I talked to a bunch of people. Funny enough, my first wholesale deal came from my neighbor because I wouldn't shut up about real estate. Like, that's a little nugget for y'all right there. Even if you're just getting started, ooh, almost lost that line. Even if you're just getting started or you've never done a deal, but you're just, you're in the real estate world, you're learning, you're a real estate investor. Okay? Like, please, if tell people when they ask you what are you doing, I would tell people I'm truck driving right now, but I got my real estate business started. I was telling people that before I even had a deal. I got my real estate business going. Oh my gosh, you're investing in real estate? Yeah. Oh, wow, what have you done? Well, we're just building phase right now, but I'm working on this. I got my partners and I are doing this, right? Like the when I was working with Angel, he'd done several wraps. So when people would ask me, like, yeah, my partners and I, we do these things called wraps where we take, mortgages and we wrap them around, sell them, seller finance. Oh, I never done that. But I was telling that to people. So then my neighbors, one day they're like, hey, we have this property in Florida and we want to just get rid of it. And I did the whole pull away. No, you guys should get an agent. Like, it's a really great market. No, we don't want to deal with agents. Oh, okay. Well, let me see what I can do. And that's where my first wholesale deal came from, dude. Just talking about it.
There you go. Gotta love the pull away method.
Heck yeah, man.
Oh man, that's amazing, dude. That was um like obviously when we met in Arizona, you know, it was what, just a couple nights hanging out. It wasn't really time to get your whole story, so um that's great.
Yeah, bro. Now that day in Arizona, those couple days, those were even really like that really expanded my mind talking to people what they're doing out there.
Hmm. Well, you definitely helped me. When you brought up that, you've never done any construction in your life, but you're fixing flipping homes in Florida.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, okay. So now, I mean, we're trying to buy homes. I'm still, scrambling around trying to figure things out, and maybe I'm still too much like, you know,
In
keeping it.
house.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. Got a
I'm
lot of
telling you,
learning to
brother.
do.
It's really just about, and when I tell people, like, it really depends on what you want to do, right? If you want to wholesale, find somebody that's wholesaling, like, you know, and they're still wholesaling. Because a lot of times what people do is they want to wholesale, and this happened to me, but I'm kind of glad it did because it expanded my mind. I wanted to wholesale, right? But my partner Angel, he was kind of past that. He's like, oh, dude, I did the whole wholesaling. Now I'm about generational wealth. I'm trying to buy and hold, right? So that's how I got the apartments, the eightplex, the 2 single family homes in South Carolina. But did that really give me the now money? No. Like, I was still like grinding, putting all this time, but yet, I'm still working my W-2 as a truck driver. And I'm like, and I'm seeing all these people like, we just wholesale this deal, $40,000, you know, and I'm like, that's what I need. Like, he's past that.
Mhm.
Right. So that's another thing. Like when you're connecting with people and you want to wholesale, you know, get with somebody that's been doing it, but they're not past it already. Like they're not about making money now. They're in their generational wealth building phase where they're about buying and holding and fix and flipping. You know, they're in it for the longer run. They're in it for the big bucks, but not now. So, but if you're, let's say you're like, no, man, I want to learn about fix and flips, then you need to get with somebody that's, you know, that they've been at it for a while. They're not scared to take on a deal. They know how to manage a crew, right? Or they know who to hire. But you just bring that value to them, like whether if it's more deals, capital. People always need capital. So if it's like, if you want to learn the best skill, raise capital. Learn to raise capital. That everybody always needs a capital raiser on their team. Um, so you can bring that value. And if you do want to do buy and holds, then find somebody that's, you know, maybe they're doing a little flips here and there, but their main focus is buying and holding. They might wholesale some still, but you know, they're only wholesaling the things that they don't want to keep, and
Mhm.
they're keeping the rest. And that's how it was with Angel. Like we only wholesale things that we didn't want, and we kept the rest. And so that's where I was like, you know, I never got to join the team that's like wholesaling, you know, 20 deals a month.
Yeah.
Because I completely skipped that part and I jumped straight into buy and hold and fix and flips, you know. So whatever you're needing, are you needing cash now? You know, are you needing that income right now? Then I recommend, you know, somebody that's wholesaling or fix and flipping, because buy and holds, buy and holds, they're great, but you know, you're not going to get that money to leave your W-2. And that's why, you know, I just got a new job like 3 weeks ago, which allows me to work from home. And that's why I really took it. You know, it wasn't a massive pay increase. I'm still working, but now I get to work from home. So, you know, I got the whole dual computer action going on now. And I get to, but you know, that was after 3 years of truck driving,
Right.
you know. Actually, no, I worked at that job for 8 years, you know, but within real estate, I was doing that for 3 years, man, trucking and working.
There you go. So you started once you got on with Angel, that was your main thing was raising capital, or were you also calling and talking to sellers or stuff like that?
Yeah. So when I jumped in with Angel, my main duty was like raising capital, but I didn't stop there because I figured that we needed more leads, right? So I was like, okay, so we need more leads and he need and we need funding. So I'm raising capital, but then I'm learning all about lead gen. Like I'm watching people like Matt Beard, because Matt Beard was doing lead gen for Pace Morby. So I'm like, okay, like I don't need to be Pace Morby right now. I need to be the Matt Beard of this team, right? So I'm learning all about prop stream and batch leads and pulling lists and what lists to pull, direct to seller, direct to agent. Um, we didn't have the money. Well, so we hired virtual team members, right? We some cold callers. So we hired the cold caller. We did the thing, but it wasn't producing as much, and the funding was going away for the cold. So unfortunately, we had to let go of the cold callers, and that's where I like started bringing in people that were newer than me, but they just wanted to get started, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, if you're just wanting to get started, jump on my team, and we were paying people commissions, right? Jump on my team. Here's the list. You call the list. All you have to do is find somebody that's willing to have the conversation, right? They have the conversation. I take it a step further, right? So they're doing the first call, the cold call, right? I'm doing the lead managing. So I'm calling the homeowners or the agents, telling them what we got going on. I wasn't the closer though. Angel was. So then I passed it over to Angel, the closer, right? So I was an information gatherer. Now, a lot of people think that when they start calling, they need to know everything. That's far
Mhm.
from the truth. I would tell people, just find somebody that's like, yes, they want to sell their house, but no, they're not asking like, yeah, what's your price though? Like if you're like, yeah, I want to sell my house, what's your offer? Give me your offer. Usually they're not that, we would say, motivated,
Yeah.
right? That's the one thing that we really taught people is to find the actual motivated sellers. Like if they truly have an issue, it's like, well, why haven't you been able to sell your house on the market traditionally? Now, when you ask them that, they're going to say one of two things. I don't want to pay agent commissions. They're just looking for top dollar. If the other one, or they're going to say, well, I can't, the house needs to be fixed. I've tried talking to agents. They told me I needed to do this, this, and that. I don't have time to list it on the market. I'm like, when you ask them that, now you have somebody that's actually motivated to sell, but they can't sell it on the market. So they need our help to give them the top dollar for their situation. And so that's when it would come to me. I would gather the information and, hey, Angel, these people, they're actually motivated. Give them a call. And then, then it came to me, started closing deals, right? So I started learning from Angel, and then I started closing deals. And then it moved on to some, like, I would take some of the top producing cold callers on our team, and then I would teach them lead managing. So that's how it was from the beginning. I was all lead management. I was taking care of the inbound calls, and I mean, I'm still doing that. I'm
Hmm.
still the main, like my job still is raising capital and lead management. That's still my part. Like, I know where I'm good at.
Hmm.
I leave the like business, like real business stuff to my partner Lucas. He's the, like, I call it the brains of the operate. Like, he knows how to manage employees. He knows how to keep the systems like optimized, and then you know he helps us hire the people we need on our team. But I'm still, just, hey, I lead gen. I still talk with our team every day. We're jumping on Zooms, and I'm still trying to, like, go with our marketing. What's working, what's not working.
Gotcha. Okay. So without giving out all your secrets,
I'll give out all the secrets, bro. Well, what's
just
up?
because I'm trying to understand exactly what you mean by lead managing.
Of
Um,
course.
so like what does that process look like? The cold callers, they've reached out, found out they're interested in an offer, a potential offer.
Mhm.
And that gets sent to you. I guess what kind of information are you getting or explaining to them?
Yeah, bro. I'll give you, so to start from start to finish, right? So what we were, I guess, kind of like what we were doing and what we're doing now, right? I'll go from there. So we had direct to seller and direct to agent campaigns going, right? So for direct to seller, I was pulling lists like um, the foreclosure stuff, which we got from the county records. Like, we didn't pull a foreclosure list from like Batch or PropStream. We were pulling that data straight from county websites. If the county website didn't have it, we would have somebody go to the county recording office and ask them, like, hey, um, could we pull a list? Or from title companies, we could ask title companies, can you guys provide lists of people that are, facing foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, lease pendings, kind of like information? Yeah, we can give you that list. So title companies will provide that list. Um, the county records will provide that list, or sometimes agents will have it, right? So I wasn't pulling the list from like Batch, PropStream. A lot of that information's outdated. So we were getting our list there, and then we would use softwares like Batch Leads to skip trace it. So basically, we'd get all these homeowners' names and addresses, right? Upload it into that software called Batch Leads. and we would run a skip trace, which then pulls all the numbers, right? We were paying like 10 cents a record. So we get all the phone numbers, and we're getting everything on a spreadsheet, right? All the phone numbers. And then we're using this software called REI Reply, which is a CRM, which is just a fancy, basically, software to keep track of your leads, right? Like we have it in like stages from left to right. So it starts off new lead. These are the people that, or no, prospects. Apology. Prospects. These are the people that we haven't called. They're prospects. We don't know what they want. Okay. They go from the prospects down to new lead. So right here in the prospect section, that's the cold callers. They're calling and they're trying to get people on the phone. They're dialing. They're getting like, this is the part where you hire out, because if you do cold calling, you will burn yourself out within like a week. You don't want a cold call. Like I tell people, find somebody that's new that hasn't done it, because they'll suffer through it at first. But then, the thing is, you got to keep bringing on. That's the thing about non-hired people. You're constantly bringing new callers in. It's a full-time job. You're people leaving, you're bringing new. People leaving, you're bringing new. So,
It
if you're
sucks,
able to
but
hire,
it is necessary.
huh?
It sucks, but it is
Yeah,
necessary.
it sucks a lot. It trying to find people to jump on your team constantly, because people, they burn themselves out, or they're like, man, I thought I wanted to do this, but I don't. And that's what I tell people. I'm like,
Yeah.
you think you want to cold call, and I set the expectations. You're gonna cold call, but then guess what? You're gonna dip out in like week 2. What? Because you're gonna hate it. But I'm gonna let you go through the gauntlet. You want to try it, let's run it. And so they're calling, and then they find somebody. They find somebody that, they're like, yes, I want to sell my house, or I need help. I need more information. Okay, they're not like, our cold callers. They're asking like basic questions. Like, are you looking to sell? Yes or no. Why are you looking to sell? Why haven't you tried selling it traditionally with an agent? You know, um, they're not like, yes, they might get property condition, but if they're on market, you don't need it, right?
Right.
If they're on market, they're just talking to the agent, like what's going on, right? They're just seeing what's happening. Then they pass it over to somebody like me, where I was the one that's like, okay, so I see here that you can't list it on the market because your house needs repairs. Well, what does your house need? This. Okay, like, have you tried repairing it yourself? No. And then I'm getting deeper into the weeds, right? Like, if they're in foreclosure, right? Well, what is your plan if you don't sell the house, right? How much time do you have? Like, if we ask for, like, are we able to, get bank information? Can we do this? Can we help you? I'm going through like all the steps of like, have you tried loan modifications? Have you tried asking family for like, I'm not having a virtual team member do that. I'm getting more personal. Like,
Mhm.
you know, what's your credit score like? Are you able to refinance? No, 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 no. Like, I can't do that. I can't do this. Okay, so what are you looking to get out of this house? Oh, I need this much money, blah blah blah. I need, I don't know what I need. Okay, well, hold on. Let me get you in with our foreclosure specialist. I just wanted, like, I had some questions about what our initial call was, but I have a lot of answers now. So let me pass you over to I'll have my team member, Angel, call you, and he'll be able to go more in depth. So then he's actually like he was underwriting it. He sees what we can do. He knows the area. He's basically figuring out what our exit strategy is going to be. Is it going to be a fix and flip? Is it going to be a wholesale, hotel, sub two, right? So I'm like, we have the pre-information gathering,
Mhm.
we have the majority information gathering, and then we have the exit strategist, aka the closer, who knows what we got to do with this deal, and that's what he's flowing the deal, the call to be like, right? Because you don't want to call somebody and be like, yeah, we're gonna do sub two, we're gonna do this, when sub two wasn't the best exit, it was wholesale. You know what I mean? Like, let's say they have huge arrears. They have, like, if it's a foreclosure, they have massive arrears. you got to know when it's better to do a sub 2 or a wholesale, right? If they have major arrears, but there's a lot of equity, then you're not having a sub 2 conversation. You're having a wholesale conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If they've got little arrears, little equity, and they need some money, now you're having a sub 2 conversation. So that's the closer's job, is to know what's that situation and to make it like flow with that conversation. So that from like start to finish, we're pulling a list from the county, we're skip tracing it, it's going to our callers, they're gathering as much information, and then they're passing it on to us all from left to right, using systems, RER reply, batch leads for skip tracing. And I mean, with the on market stuff, for on market, we're using Privy. Privy is really good for it's got MLS data in Florida, right? And the reason we do MLS is because we're fix and flipping. So I'm looking for properties that are on market. And in Florida, if you have something that's on market for more than 30 days, it's already late. Florida, it's still pretty fast market. So what I'm doing these filters, instead of taking a list of 10,000, I'm shortening it to like 500, right? On market. So I'm looking for 30 days on market that looks like it needs repairs and it hasn't sold yet. Right? So basically what I'm reverse engineering what I want, which is creative deals. So what I'm building is a list of potential novations. So these people have been on market, the house needs repairs, and it's been on there for more than 30 days, which is telling me they're overpriced. So if they haven't been bought yet, I'm going to come in and have our team present a creative solution. Like, hey, in Florida, if you have a fix and flip deal and it's a great deal, it's off the market within a week. So if you're on there 30 plus days, what's going on with the home? So we're calling the agent. Hey, so we noticed this property that you have listed. It looks like it needs repairs, but I know we're still pretty active. We fix and flip properties here in this area. What's your thoughts on what's been the feedback for this property? They're getting lowball offers, right? People keep giving us offers, but they're way below ask. Okay. So it probably needs a lot of repairs than what the listing will allow. Yeah. Okay. Well then, how about this? Instead of giving you another lowball cash offer, what if we entertain the idea where we partner with the homeowner and we bring in the money to rehab it? We finish the house, we bring it up to 2024 standards, and now you have a house, the agent, now you have a house that's in perfect list condition. How fast do you think this thing would sell? Oh, if this house was in great condition, I could probably sell it in less than 2 weeks. All right. So what if we work together to make that happen? And so that's our solution. So that's for our on market. It's just whatever you want to get at the end, you got to reverse engineer it. You want wholesale, you got to find people with lots of equity, homeowner, people that have owned their homes for 10 plus years, right? 5+ years. They've owned it for 5+ years. Maybe they're a tired landlord, right? You got the tired landlords. They have a rental. They've had the rental for 20+ years, right? So whatever you want to do, you got to reverse engineer that. You want rentals, right? You can call that the same tired landlords. Turn them into a rental. But right now, the craze is the low equity, right? You're finding homeowners that bought their house within like 2 years, and now they're on market to sell. That's little to no equity. Like they just bought it, and now they're trying to sell it. Well, if they've got no equity, they can't sell it cash. So you're pitching sub 2 ideas to get, these sub 2 houses. You want fire list, get the ones that are been expired, right? You take that same home, they just bought the house, they had it listed with an agent, and then they dropped the listing because they weren't getting their offers. That homeowner is going to be very motivated to sell. Like, hey, I noticed that you had your house and it didn't sell. Are you still looking to sell? Yeah, like I need to sell my house, but no offers. People are offering me less than what I owe. Well, did your agent ever bring up this try to strategy to you? Subject to seller finance, anything? No. Well, that's how I buy my houses, right? Like I've been able to help several homeowners get the money that they need by doing this. And then, now they'll hear you out. But just revert what you want and think backwards on how you can find that one person.
Beautiful. Guys, that was gold right there. If you know what? I don't know if it's possible, but find a way to save, download this episode and watch it over and over again. I know luckily I'm recording it, so I just get to pull it back up. Now, Emilio, that was amazing. I really appreciate you breaking that down for me. And everybody who's watching. But due to time constraints, do need to move on to the last part of our show. So
Let's run it.
That being said, just have a few questions, pretty basic. First, Emilio, what made you want to be on the podcast today?
Well, one, I get to talk with my boy Corey, man. After we chatted, dude, as soon as I saw that, you wanted to connect, I'm like, let's get on, let's chat, let's have a good time. But dude, I love also just if somebody listens to this and it helps them get started, dude, that for me, just one person. If one person gets that, it's totally worth it. Like I love it. So just getting to talk real estate with my friend. My wife's tired of it. So anytime I get to talk with other people, bro.
I get it. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate it. It was good catching up with you as well. Second question, pretty much you spent this whole time talking about it, but just summarize it real quick. What value do you have to give to someone else who maybe wants to reach out to you and work with you?
I can help you, like with the starting steps, right? Sometimes I help people realize what they have to offer. A lot of times people think they don't have nothing to offer, right? Trust me, you do. You can utilize your W-2, you can utilize your past experience. So if someone's just trying to figure out where to get started or how to get started or who to reach out to, like I can connect you, I can help you get like, your step in the door, right? I can help you get that first step so that way it builds on that and it'll spread like a wildfire. You'll know where to go after that.
Awesome. And then what do you need right now that's going to help you make money?
Whew. A lot. I mean, of course, everyone, if someone's looking to get started, right? If someone's looking to get started, maybe they have some small investments to make, we'll gladly bring you on the team. We'll get you started. Like you'll see the steps from start to finish. So I'm always looking for people that want to partner on deals. If you're in Florida and you're wholesaling and we're not talking, there's an issue with that because we're buying. So, just more deals and connections.
Okay. Awesome. So guys, like you said, if you're a wholesaler, especially in Florida, what about South Carolina?
South Carolina, we kind of pause that, but bring it to me. We'll in South Carolina, it's more about buy and holds. So, like this year, like I said, hyper focus too. Like, when you and I first met, brother, like we were trying everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this year we like super hyper focused, and that's how we were able to like go from 0 to 5 flips in like just a matter of months. So, that's another thing, like super hyper focus on what you want to do. So yeah, like send me like South Carolina. I have a lot of connections out there. But our main focus this year is the fix and flips in Florida.
Okay, great. So question 4, what is some advice outside of the entirety of this episode would you have for someone newer in the game?
So some advice I would say is, I mean, if you're truly looking to get going, like let's say you're brand new, you gotta utilize like from within, see what you can bring to the table, right? If you're a W-2 worker, truck driver, you can be on the phone, you can chat, you can talk, right? You have that value to bring. You can be on the phone. Let's say some people like are accountants, right? I'm an accountant and I don't have time. You're really good with numbers then, right? You have like I'm horrible with numbers. You and I could partner, right? So that's what I mean. Like when people feel like they bring no value to a team, trust me, you're either a talker or you know how to set up systems. You're really good with computers. You're good at crunching numbers, right? Or sometimes you're just really good at listening, right? Like, I'm not a big, but I'm really good at listening. Like some people just need somebody that can listen on their team because a lot of us are just blah 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 and we don't listen as much. But advice is like figure out your skill and blow that skill up and connect with everybody. Post it on Facebook, post it on Instagram. If you're trying to get like really into real estate, the sub two, the creative finance, sub two Facebook group, the free one, post on there multiple times. Hey, I'm trying to get started. This is what I can offer. I'm good at this, and this. If anybody needs somebody on their team, let's connect. Post that multiple times and you'll reach the right people.
There you go. Awesome, brother. And then lastly, where is the best place people can get in touch with you? Either they have a deal or they just want to connect. What's the best place to reach you?
Best place is, Instagram's right there. Shoot me a message on Instagram. I'll get back to you there. Also, Facebook, shoot me a Facebook message. I try to stay very up to date on my social media, but yeah, you can reach me out there. And if you have deals, I mean, we have a deal, but nah, just send it to me. Better yet, because then I can connect with you, and then we can chat. Because a lot of times people are like, oh, just send it to my email, but then you never connect with people, right? So
Mm-hmm.
just connect with me on Instagram, connect with me on Facebook, and let me know what you got going on. And even if you don't even have a deal, right? And you just like, I want to get started, just reach out. We're all here to help.
Absolutely. Sweet. So yeah, Instagram, and then I believe you have a special Facebook group. Is that just for you, or is that your whole team?
Oh, yeah, no, that's so I have this little Facebook group I created like 2 years ago. It's called the REI Squad, right? And it's a Facebook group where um, we go live on Zooms. Like we try to go live once a week, and we're just talking like this, man. Like, but it's a group of people, and in that Facebook group, we share stuff that we've learned, information. All my previous recordings are on there. And it's just a way to connect with like a smaller group because you join these Facebook groups and there's like 100,000 people on there. And you ask a question and it gets, as I love to say, it gets lost in the sauce, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so my idea was always reach out to a smaller group where people will see it and then get to the bigger groups. So it's just a smaller group of people that, we're all just into real estate.
Awesome. Well, guys, if you're watching this, go follow Emilio on Instagram, and I'll put the link to the Facebook group in the description below. Go check that out. Join it if you're serious. I'm just kidding,
Heck yeah.
guys. Like, if you want to get into real estate, I mean, Emilio's a great person to know. Again, like I said, if you can figure out how to download this, watch it over and over. Actually, don't download it. Just go back to my channel, watch it over and over again. That'll help me. It'll help you. It'll help Emilio. Everybody wins.
You got to help your homies grow.
Oh yeah,
Watch the Facebook videos. Put a like, even if you don't finish. Put a like, put a comment. Always help your friends with their real estate journeys and their podcasts. It's a big help. It's massive help.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, Emilio, that's our show, man. That's all I got. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. Yeah, that's it.
That's good, brother. Well, thank you for um, getting me out here, inviting me to your podcast, brother. This was awesome. Getting to chat with your friends and subjects that we both love. Real estate.
Oh, yeah.
You know, fortunes and friendships, baby.
That's right.
I love it.
That's right. Awesome. Well, guys, that's our show. Let me know what you thought of Emilio. I think he's great. I love how clean cut he is, looking good.
I did it for
And
the show.
he's throwing gold out there, guys. Like, geez, if you don't know, if you haven't connected with Emilio, go do it right now. Go ahead. I'm giving you permission to stop the video. Go friend him on Facebook. Check out his Instagram. Boom, right there. That being said, guys, if you like this, like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you can stay updated every week. Again, these episodes drop every Monday. So, that being said, until next week, guys, peace be with you. Love you guys. Be safe. Have a wonderful week.